Okay, we are live. Let me double check. If you guys can hear us, let us know. Oh, yeah, Michelle just responded, so I think she'll be here soon. All right. Let me double check. Okay, cool. It's working and we are here. Hello, everyone who is here. Welcome to our November live show for the Crusty Club, which is, well, we're having it in December, so it's the last one for the year. Today we're going to be talking about Tokyo Ever After by Emiko Jean, and I'm really excited because this is a YA pick, and I love YA. I'm going to go ahead and let the co-hosts introduce themselves in a little bit. Michelle should be on her way, so when she gets here, she'll also introduce herself. But while we're waiting for all of that, I'm going to go ahead and just do some little announcements. So our December pick is She Who Became the Sun. And the live show for that will probably be mid to late January, just so people kind of have enough time to get the book from their library or buy the book and then read the book, because during the holidays people are like really busy. So there's tons of time to read that. And then I will also be announcing the January, February, and March picks tomorrow. So look forward to that as well. I'm really excited about those picks. Um, Now I'm going to go ahead and let Allana and Sabrina introduce themselves, and then maybe also tell you about their most recent 5-star read and what it's about and if you should read it, obviously. So you guys go ahead.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Allana. I have the channel The Awkward Book Nerd. I like to read all types of books, mainly YA, though. Let's see, you said our recent 5-star read.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I did a reread of Every Heart a Doorway by Shelley McGuire, and I really loved it, like even more than the first time I read it. So I gave it 5 stars again. It's kind of like a dark fantasy about these kids. It's kind of like the theme of, you know how in Narnia the kids like went through their wardrobe, but you never really saw what happened after they came back. Well, her books follow the theme of, well, what happens to the kids when they come back? Like, do they adjust? Do they not adjust? And there it focuses on the school that takes in those kids and kind of helps them either find their way back to their world or adjust back to reality, to the reality of their original world, I guess. So it was good.
Wow. I think I read, that's the series that I read one of the books, right? I think I did.
So.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Who's next? Oh, Michelle, by the way, we're doing introductions and then maybe like a recent 5-star read.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, well, I'm Sabrina. Hi. My channel is Stranger Reads, but I'm not very active on YouTube right now, but I am on Twitter. And my most recent 5-star read was Kingdom of the Cursed by Carrie Maniscalco. It's the second book in the Kingdom of the Wicked. I think it's going to be a trilogy. But I highly recommend it because Carrie Maniscalco is one of my favorite authors. Chanel and I read the Stalking Jack the Ripper series together, and it was just perfection. It was perfection. So, like, everyone read anything by her, honestly.
I'm so excited to get to those, like her new books, because Stalking Jack the Ripper is so good.
Is it?
It's so. We read it in like I think 1 week.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was so good.
That's quick.
Yeah, it was really, really good. Michelle, do you want to go next? If you're ready.
What am I saying again? Hi, I'm Michelle.
Yeah, kind of like introducing yourself and then sharing a recent 5-star read.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I'm more active on Instagram. I don't have a YouTube because everyone tells me I should get one, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Maybe next year. I'm on Instagram. Recent 5-star read. That's a good question. Laura Olympus.
Ooh.
I've been reading Laura. It's a graphic novel. It's like basically a Hades and Persephone retelling, and it's so visually stunning. It's like the writer is called named Rachel Smith, Smythe, and you can get the entire series for free on Webtoons. So if you don't like have the money to pay for the bound copy, which just came
It's so
out, like
beautiful. I've
it's
seen that.
stunning. It's like this. It's all color inside, so it's like stunning, but like you can see like it's so pretty. Anyway, I was like in a I was in a book slump, a reading slump from I read Second Place by Rachel Cusk, and it put me in like the worst book slump. I'd been reading like books like 2 a day almost, like so quick. And then after that book, I like couldn't read a book for a month. I was just like, I can't read anything. I was like starting books, and then like I would get to half of it, and then my rental would be up at the library, so I'd have to like return it. So right now I have like 3 books. I'm like halfway in the middle of. And I'm just like waiting for them to come back. But yeah, that really helped break my like reading slump, and it like really helped me, I guess maybe because it was like a graphic novel, so it was like just different, and it's already a story I'm familiar with, but it was like a different medium, so it was like cool to like actually flip through the pages. And there's also some stuff in the bound copy that's not in the webtoon, like secret like side stories. So I highly recommend it. It's so amazing. It's trigger warning for like sexual assault and like date rape and stuff like that, but it's so beautiful and like really deep and profound and important. So I highly recommend it. It's so good. It like kept me tethered through the pandemic. I was just like reading it every Saturday because it's like the artist is based in New Jersey, or no, New Jersey, New Zealand. So like it updates every Sunday, but like it would be Saturday night for us because we're in the States. And then like literally at Saturday around like 11 p.m. my friends would like, and I would DM each other and be like, new episode's up. We have to go check it and read it. Like it's so good. It's amazing. Highly recommend.
I would definitely be looking that up. I guess since everyone is here on my channel, I'll just say I'm Chanel. Welcome. I, like Sabrina, have not been that active on YouTube, like especially the later half of this year. But 2022, being free from school, we'll see. But for my 5-star book that I want to talk about, it's not a recent one, but it's one that I want people to read, especially this month, because I feel like people will be looking for books like this month. But it's One Day in December by Josie Silver, and it's like this book about this woman who sees this guy like while she's on a bus or something, and she sees this guy across the street, and she's like, oh my god, she like completely like not falls in love with him, but she's like, oh my goodness, and then he ends up being the guy her best friend is dating. Yeah. And then the book goes over like multiple years of them being like 3 friends, and then her best friend dating this guy that she's like in love with. And oh man, was it crazy! Like, it's such a good book. And it goes from December to December. And the main guy in it is also, um, through the book, he becomes deaf as well. So I feel like it was really interesting to kind of, because I don't see many books with those themes in them, especially like romance books. So yeah, I just need people to read it because it's so good. It's like friends to lovers, second chance, multiple years. If you like that type of thing, you need to read it. It's so good. But that's my 5-star read. Hello everyone who's here. Hi Kim. Hello. I can't remember what this was referring to. I feel like this was talking about Allana's pick, but I can't remember. Okay, everyone who read the book. If you read the book, put your ratings in the comments so we can see what you rated the book. And then you guys, do you want to share your ratings for Tokyo Ever After?
I can go first. Yeah, I gave it 5 stars. I thought it was just such a cute read. So yeah.
I gave it
Oh.
4 stars. Not because I thought like anything was off. I just had like certain expectations for it, and that's on me. But I did think like that it was so cute and sweet and amazing.
I guess I'm like in the middle because I gave it 4.5 stars. I really loved it. It was like when it started, I was a little on the fence because I actually grew up in Tokyo. So like, and my dad like my mom has gone to the royal palace and met the princess, and my dad's worked with the royal family. So it was a little hard to suspend belief of like a hot royal family, but like because that's just not my experience. But like once I got out of the like what I know, I guess, like it really like took off for me because the story itself is like really good and the voice is strong. So there was some stuff where I was like, this is just a story, like stop getting so hung up on it. But I think that's where like the half star comes from, just my own personal experience. But I really loved it. I thought it was great.
I also gave it 4 stars, and I feel like it's partly because of the hype that I had, like certain things I was expecting, because I absolutely loved this. Like it was so good, it was amazing. I was like, yes, but it felt like something that afterwards, like after some time, I'm gonna be like, oh, this was just like a cute story, and I really enjoyed it. But it wasn't like I'm broken, or like So,
True. This is the first book in
yeah,
a
it was really
series
good.
though, right? Like I didn't realize it wasn't
Yeah, it
a
is.
standalone. Yeah. So I think it should be
It
interesting
felt
to
like a
see where
standalone.
it goes because it reads like a standalone. So like I didn't realize it was a series until I finished like I reviewed the book online and I was like, "Oh, number 1, wait, there's more?" So especially after what you said, I'm interested to see if like the reason why like it lands that way for some people is because like there's more to come, so they saved some of that stuff for the other books as opposed to like putting it all in this one, which is like interesting, but like it's like an interesting play because you don't always know like if people are going to be into the first book if you do that, but it's interesting.
I read the synopsis of the second book, and it seems like it takes place like a few months or even like a year or so later.
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah, like so there's a time jump there. So
I wonder if it was a planned series or if they made this one and then they were like, this would make a good series, and then like
I was curious because the way it ended, I was like, there's gonna be another book, like so that's why I was like, let me
doesn't
see
feel
what
like
the synopsis
anything
is.
after.
Yeah, I feel like that's maybe like one of the expectations I had, and I felt like it ended kind of abruptly.
Yeah,
I was expecting it to end like on a cliffhanger if there's gonna be like a second book, or like end during conflict so that it gets resolved in the second book.
I don't know. Maybe she was thinking like there could be a second book, but I don't know if there's going to be. So let me give it like a weird
ending,
ending, and then go from there or something.
I'd be interested to see if like this author. I should have Googled it before this whole thing, but to see if when she sold this, it's sold as a 2-book or a 3-book or a 1-book with the option for 2, because I know in the industry like there has been situations where people have sold a series, but then if the first one doesn't perform, the second 2 get cut off and they get bought out of their contract. So I know a lot when I was writing to publish, and like hopefully that's still in my future, but taking a break. Anyway, but they always used to say like it's kind of a gamble to like end on a cliffhanger because sometimes you're not, even if you are purchased like in a 3-book deal or something, you're not guaranteed that you're going to get that 3-book deal. So it's like your choice as an author to decide whether or not you want your readership, however like whatever side's gonna be satisfied at the end or not, because if like you might not get the chance to finish the story a second time if you don't finish it the first time. So yeah, I'm definitely interested to hear if like that was a thing, like what the situation was for Emiko Jean.
I think it's also interesting to like reading. Oop, I don't know if my Wi-Fi is messing up, so let me know if I start cracking.
Okay.
But I was gonna say, I think it's also interesting that I've been noticing a lot of like YA books are becoming series, like Love Boat Taipei, and then we have this one, and there's another one that I'm thinking of that I can't remember the name of, but no, I don't think it's that one. But I just feel like there's so many YA books that are becoming series.
Like TV series?
No, like book series.
Oh, like
they're
book
having
series?
people. Yeah, which it's really surprising. But I think it's cute because it kind of reminds me of like the To All the Boys. Because before I read that, I was like, why is it a series? And then I read it, I was like, oh, kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like my familiarity with romance series is more similar to like the like Neon Gods vibes, or like where it's like each book, it's like in the same world, but each book is on a different couple, kind of like Act Your Age, Chloe, is it Chloe Brown or Eve Brown, or like that series where it's like each one of the sisters, but it's all like they're all connected.
Get a Life, Chloe
like
Brown.
Yeah, that one, Get a Life, Chloe Brown. Like, and so like I'm more familiar with that when it comes to romance, when it's like a series where it's not necessarily following the first main couple, like, but like I mean it happens at varying degrees. Like there's like the classic romance where it's like Black Dagger Brotherhood, where like that's where they do this too. And then there's also basically like, you know, YA where they do this with Get a Life, Chloe Brown. So it's like it's very popular trope, and I really enjoy it because sometimes when you're reading like a book, like I read XO by XEO, and one of like the second lead romances, I was like, dude, I want a second book starring them because I want to read their love story. But like I really do love the opportunity to be able to sit with like an actual couple for like more than one book, because a lot of the time I feel like in romance is like Me Before You, like the lead is only the lead for the first book. So it's like it's kind of like I want more than one book with the main couple if you're gonna do it with the main couple, not just like break them up and then put them. It's just annoying. So that's just my personal preference. Anyway, I'll shut up now.
No, it makes sense. It's interesting to like think about because I'm always just like, I want to see what's going to happen. But the thing that makes me nervous is when there's like really stupid conflicts in the sequel that you just know it's just there to add more pages.
Yeah. I'm going to admit, when I read the synopsis for this sequel, it sounded like there might be one.
Oh, no.
And I was like, no. I was like, I don't know if I can pick it up. Like, not that it's stupid. I don't want to say it's stupid because I haven't read it, but it just sounded like there was going to be some type of conflict. And I was like, really?
Oh, no.
I feel like the only book that I can think of that has had like some really stupid conflict that was clearly just there to like spice up the main couple was the I can't remember which book exactly it was, but it's in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. I know Sabrina knows exactly what I'm talking about.
I think it's the third one.
Yeah, it's not Drac. No.
Is it the one where they're in the boat?
It's Houdini. Isn't it Houdini?
Yeah.
Escaping Houdini?
It was I'm pretty sure it was that one. It was so dumb, but I was like, this is kind of juicy.
I just feel like it's the miscommunication trope. Like I feel like
it's the miscommunication trope.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Sometimes, very rarely, it's done well, but like very rarely, like it's not.
I don't think I've ever read one where it's been done right.
I feel like maybe in movies, but not. I literally cannot remember a book I enjoyed with the miscommunication trope. I literally despise it. I literally despise it. Like I remember reading Love Hypothesis, and I was like, "Stop miscommunicating!" No, so annoying. But then I
No.
read this essay that said, oh, I think Chanel froze.
No, it's just such a hard trope to do. I feel
is.
like we should just table it.
Yeah, we should.
Definitely. Like, I think I was reading this one romance last year, and they were in the car and they together, and they were having a miscommunication trope. And I'm like, how are you miscommunicating when you're together in the car? I don't understand. Like, you're talking about it, but you're still miscommunicating.
That's so funny. I did read this essay though that was like, we can't expect, that made like really good points. That was like, are you really expecting like characters to communicate when you can't even communicate clearly yourself? And I was like, called out, because like sometimes I can't communicate clearly with people and I ignore them until I actually have to deal with them. So like mood. I was like, I probably shouldn't expect more out of my characters. Anyway. Yay.
Okay, so I do have some questions for the live show that's about this book because I'm very curious to see. And my first one is about our main character's parents and the like right person, wrong time thing. You know what I'm talking about? Like how they were like together in college, it wasn't the right time, like all of that. What do you guys think about that? Do you kind of like personally believe in the like right person, wrong time? Or are you just kind of like, if it was the right person, it would be the right time? You know what I mean? Because like her mom like was like, she didn't, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? What do you guys think about that?
I definitely feel like if it's the right person, it's gonna work out.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like sometimes people are dumb and like they sabotage something like on purpose. And I definitely feel like that was the case with the parents because they both like didn't want to put in the work. They were both like, no, it's not gonna work out, but they didn't even try.
I think I'm on the fence. Like, I think it could, there is a chance where it's like, it definitely could be just not the right time for that relationship or whatever. But at the same time, I also believe that if you really, really, really wanted it to work, there would be a chance somehow that y'all could talk it out or something. And I feel like even with her like having a kid, I was like, you could have reached out and still worked out something to where even if your relationship didn't work out, like like the girl could have still maybe somehow saw her father or something. Like, I don't know. I don't want to say like, I don't know. I don't want to assume too much because again, I've never been in that situation. So I know I'm sure there's so many factors that play into it. But I feel like a conversation, the miscommunication, the conversation could have just been there at some point.
Yeah, I feel like the thing that always gets me about this like right person, wrong time thing is the fact that like there were so many years of like just not knowing. You know what I mean? And then like her dad being like, if I had known you existed, I would have like swam, I would have flown, I would have done all of this. Like that's like the years lost is what's sad. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm kind of like on the if it's the right person, it'll be the right time because I think in real life, it's such a gamble to be like, let's meet again in 15 years or let's meet again in 20 years. You know what I mean? It's such a gamble. So
did they say that? I can't remember. Sorry, I read this on audiobook really quickly. I was like, did they say that?
No, they didn't say that. I am just thinking about like that trope or that theme in like movies and TV shows where they do have the thing like, oh, maybe in another, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. I get you.
Yeah. I always, that's the thing. I'm like, what if you literally never see them again?
I feel like for me, it really depends on the situation whether or not it works, because in real life I actually know people who have like reconciled and it worked out for like, and they're together and they're happy. So and then And then I think it works in this situation because of the context of the Japanese royal family. Like, okay, I don't know if I should share these things, but like, so my parents, like, they knew like certain people in Japanese society, like where they were working. My dad was an international corporate lawyer in Japan, and he was the head of the American Chamber of Commerce. So he was like in charge of making all the rules and regulations for American businesses in Japan and like keep them protected and happy and stuff, and work with the American and Japanese governments to keep it that way. But anyway, like through their business and their dealings, like they met all these people and became friends with them, and they met like several women who like I personally like know through family like friendships that like they ran off, got married, and then got divorced because they found out they were tapped to marry into the royal family, and if they got married and divorced, then they wouldn't have to go into the royal family because they weren't like they were no longer viable and stuff like that. It's like very strict. Like I feel like there's just this like level of inapproachability where like if her mother were to have told like the royal family, like there is no guarantee that she would ever have access to that child again. Like they could have just taken the child from her and like been like, okay, bye, we're gonna pay you off. So like it's like this, it's just I don't know if it's like just a story, like it works for this family because I honestly don't think there could have been a way where it would have worked if she told him at the beginning when she was pregnant. Like there's no way. Like she would have been disappeared. Like I'm like it's just not possible. So like it's just Japan is so much more conservative than like Western countries. Like this family, like this royal family that's depicted in the book is like so progressive, like unmarried out of wedlock, and she's like, I think you should get married. Like the way that they told her where like we would prefer it if you were married, like that was so light. Like I was like surprised that it went over so well because like even my own Japanese family, like we're very progressive and Western, but like the royal family, like wow, that was really unexpected for me. So like I felt like in this context, it would have worked, and in the sense where it's like it makes sense to me because there literally would be no way where he would be able to be with someone on his own. Like there's no way. Like all of that stuff is protected. It's picked from like before birth. Like it would have been a huge problem, and especially if he's the one next in line to the throne. Like there is no way he could have married a commoner. Like it's just unheard of. So,
and I feel like he also mentioned there's a part where Izumi and her dad were like talking, and then he mentioned her name and how like he had to enter like a name option, and then it would have had to be verified, and then it would have had to be like they would have put like I think like he said like
they would put it in an envelope and put it next to her on a pillow, and then it's very like ceremonious, like even more so I believe than like the British monarchy or anything. Like there's just a huge importance of like honor, and like I mean we have three languages where we're like languages, alphabets, I mean languages, kind of like where it's like the formal, which is like you speak to your elders, you speak to special people, and then there's like people who are like regular like co-workers, where it's like one level below co-workers, your family, like extended family you don't see often, and then it's like people you speak to like informally, which is like I guess similar to Korean if you're familiar with Korean shows and stuff like that. So like there's just like multiple levels of that where I feel like I don't even know if that was fully represented in the book because they're speaking English, so they don't necessarily like they do talk in Japanese too, but I don't feel like there was enough like communication about the fact that there's keigo and like like regular like speaking, because I feel like she probably wouldn't have known the respectful Japanese, and like that's part of your training, and I didn't really see much of that. So like in that sense I was a little disappointed because I would have liked to see a little bit more of that refinement, like kind of in a Princess Diaries vibe. because like the book really gave me like, Princess Diaries meets What a Girl Wants, because a lot of people are calling this Princess Diaries, but to me it's way more What a Girl Wants with Amanda Bynes and Colin Firth, where she like finds out that she's like Colin Firth's like a daughter, and then she goes to London to like be a debutante or whatever and like get debbed, and like all her cousins are all trying to like sabotage. It's literally just read like that movie to me. It was one of my favorite movies. So like, and then like Crazy Rich Asians and like a little bit of First Daughter and Chasing Liberty, like that was like the vibes for this for me. So like it really did read like very like similar to a lot of stories I've read before, but it was interesting with that aspect of the ceremoniousness. And I did think that they taught like Japanese concepts really well, like gimu and like lots of other like Japanese ideas that I don't know, maybe like it was done well enough that to communicate like how rigid like duty is in Japan to people who aren't as familiar with that concept of like how intense it is. But as someone who is familiar with those concepts, I thought it was done really well. It didn't pull me out of the story when they were like explaining something to me. So
this comment is so interesting because that's also true.
Yeah, that's true. Because they were in college and they were in Harvard, like, you know, like they probably would have, I don't know. I don't know if they would have like, I mean, abortion is legal in Japan, so.
Interesting. Okay, my next question. If you suddenly woke up and you found out that you were part of the royal family, a royal family,
okay,
what do you think the hardest thing for you to get like accustomed to or like to learn to do would be? Because this is not like the thing that I think would be the hardest for me, but the scene where Izumi was being questioned about what fork to use.
Oh.
I was like, oh, I would have been eliminated immediately. Like, but what do you guys think? What would be, and I'll give you like a little bit to think about it. So whoever has one can just kind of go next. But I will be thinking about mine as well. But I just know that fork scene, I was like, oh, no.
I feel like maybe the relations to other people, because that's a lot of history to learn like in such a short time. Yeah. So can we spoil a little bit or?
Oh yeah, no, it's
okay.
We're all at spoilers.
So when she's at the wedding and she says like the prime minister, is it?
Yeah, emperor or the prime minister.
Yeah. So and she's like, oh, this and that about your sister. And like
I knew that was
they were so offended. And like I don't know why they were more like, oh yeah, she doesn't know. Like they suddenly expected her to know everything. She had been there for 2
weeks. She should be briefed. Like normally everybody in like royalty is briefed. Like they even brief her in what's it called in Princess Diaries, like that. She would have definitely have been briefed. Like that was a little unrealistic, but I get it.
Yeah. But so I think that's definitely the hardest part for me because I never even remember people's names. So to know like that they're estranged with their sister and like I would have been like out.
I think for me it would probably be the media, like dealing with like all the media posts about you, even like them knowing things you didn't know they would get to know about, like partially because I'm just like private, like I'm a private person, like I know I have a YouTube channel, but that's what I can control, you know what I mean, like I'm controlling that outlet, but like
I get you.
Yeah, like the fact that she had so many newspapers printing things and like some of it was just stuff she was like, how did they know that? Like, how did they get this conversation or something like that? Or like they were all inserting their opinions. I think I would just really struggle with that because I'm like, how do you not get overwhelmed in that situation and like not let those opinions really get to you like constantly, you know? And I know they're trained, but like coming into a new situation, I think, and I'm a really sensitive person anyways, so I think I would just not be able to deal with it at all.
Yeah, I think like for me, now that I'm thinking about it, what would be hard is trusting that what I'm being told is the truth, because you know how when she, first of all, when she like had first met well not first met, but when she had asked Akio like about the bathroom thing, and then when she asked him to translate her like gratitude, like trusting.
Oh, like how do you know that he actually said?
Yes, and then
she asked
when
him to.
yeah, and then when she saw the newspaper article with her pictures, and she was like, "What does this say?" Oh, I would be like, "Are you telling me the truth? I need a second and third."
I would have Google translated it. I would have been
Right.
like,
I would have like been downloading my apps and like been like, okay, let's see what's really here. Because like the thing is, not because I don't like trust and I'm just like, but because their job is to like protect you and like your mental health, your well-being, like whatever. So obviously, if they needed to, they would lie. And it's like, do I
Yeah.
want to know the truth? You know what I'm saying? So it's like just literally not knowing. Like somebody could literally be like, I hate your shoes. And then Akio could have been like, they love your outfit. Like,
No, yeah, and also
sorry.
because they didn't even let them read all that stuff, and like the times that she read them, it was because like
Exactly.
they got to her somehow.
Exactly. Because she randomly saw that newspaper, the newspaper, and she was like, oh, what is this?
Oh yeah, she picked it up the street, didn't she?
Yeah, she literally
Yeah,
just
she
picked it
did.
up.
After the night
Like,
out.
imagine minding your business and you see your picture and you're like, what is
And you're
it
like,
say? It could be anything.
And that's like a huge that, and normally they're like cloistered in the palace, so like even that is like like something that they normally would control, like because you're not outside in public, so like why would you see that on a regular basis? So normally they can
Exactly.
control it, but like when you're outside and you see it and
Yeah.
you're like, oh my god, like what?
Oh my God. Kim said theirs would be the pressure, honoring family living. Yeah, this
Yeah,
too.
that'd be hard.
Like family honor would stress. I would honestly, I would be the antagonist. I know I would do something really horrible. No, literally, I would do something extremely disgraceful from day one. That way, every other experience, they're like, wow.
You can only go up from here.
Exactly.
I would honestly just be like, I'd be like, all right, you choose. You get 5 events that I will show up for, and I won't mess up. 5.
Bye.
After that, take me off the team. Don't let me out of the castle. Like, don't let me out. We're good.
I would
Like,
want them to literally be like, the princess is so disgraceful that this time she showed up to this event and only caused 2 scenes. We're shocked. She's improving, she's learning and growing as a person. Because like if you're perfect from the beginning, then they're only gonna have higher expectations. Exactly.
Yeah. That's what I say too. Like I was just talking with my friends the other day about like dating app like pictures, and we were talking about how like sometimes it's better to put up like not all your best photos, maybe like 2 of your best photos, and other photos where you like are like hot but like not like totally hot, because then like when you meet in person you're like hotter than your pictures and you're like somewhere to go but up. But like if you're all your hottest pictures on your dating profile and you show up and you're like not as hot, like you're putting this huge expectation up. But like if you put like 1 or 2 freelance hot pictures up and then you like show up really hot, then like people are like, wow, you're stunning. You're better in picture. Like you did better than your
even
picture.
thought of that.
And I was like, that is brilliant. Like we were just like planning out like our whole thing of like how we would like make our profiles like more appealing and like how this would work, and like we just like sat for like an hour talking. It's like honestly like why for an hour, but like it was very entertaining. But yeah, it's like the same concept. You know what I mean? You have nowhere to go but down if you like start up here, but if you start like mid-range, like you still have room to grow.
Right, like her one cousin was
Work
so
smarter,
funny.
not harder.
What's his name? Yoshi?
Yeah.
Yoshi.
Oh, he was so funny. Oh,
so funny. I loved him. And
I
like
have so many things to say about him.
okay.
okay.
No, I don't know. I just, for some reason, like I saw it coming.
Yeah,
I did
me
not
too.
trust
I did
him.
too.
I didn't
He was
trust him
too
either.
friendly. He was too like, I don't know.
There is a comment he made at like in the beginning, like I think it was like when they were at the karaoke bar, which like I really enjoyed their relationship, like their like jovial banter and so and then that's amazing, brilliant. but then there was like there was this moment during, I think it's because I was reading the audiobook and the way the performer said it, I think her name's Allana, but like the way she said what he said made me be like, ooh, that has like a barb behind it, where I think he was talking and she was like complaining about something and he was like being really nice to her that whole point. But then at one moment he goes, well, why don't you go home then? And I was like, oh, he's working with the twins to send her home. Like he wants her to leave. Like that's when that was the first moment where I was like, I don't know, is he? And then I convinced myself that I was wrong because I liked him, and I was like, no, there can't be. He's so good.
Yeah.
Like
It was so funny. But
and then later on, I was like, if he is and then it was like he said, what was it? Like he's the only other person at the karaoke bar, and there was like pictures of them at that bar, like her at the bar. And I was like, oh, he could be the only person because the twins weren't even there.
I think I was like suspicious of him because so like usually in books that involve like big families, especially if someone's meeting their family, I always feel like it's the first person that's like nice to you that immediately you have to be like, you're like, wait, you don't know me, everybody else is suspicious of me, why are you being nice to me, like kind of thing. I hate to be that suspicious of people that you're related to, but
but also it's not always like the person you suspect the most. Like the tweens were too obvious to have done. I even before being like, oh yeah, it's definitely Joshi, I thought it was Mr. Fujigami. I was like, I don't know, that man is like kind of suspicious. Maybe he wants her gone. Like I don't know.
I really didn't want it to be Reina though. Like I was, because I binge watched The Great, so I was really, I did at the beginning. I was like, "There's no way," but then I feel like I was watching that show, and then there was a moment where I was like, "Oh my god, if they make it Reina, I will literally be so upset."
Oh my god, how bad is the miscommunication?
I don't think it's bad.
I don't think it's bad.
It's not that bad.
I think like the main
I don't think there is miscommunication. Like it was on purpose.
It's more
other characters interfering.
Like, I don't know
it
how
was
to
more
that word.
Like a strong interference where they really didn't get to talk at all.
The big like miscommunication is literally Izumi's existence. Like, and I think that is like from the jump dealt with and like discussed. So I feel like this book actually didn't have like the miscommunication trope.
The miscommunication trope was between Izumi's mom and her dad.
And it happened like 18 years ago.
So like
a really long time ago.
Is the inciting incident. Like that's the inciting incident to this book, is that her mom like miscommunicated, or not really miscommunicated, just like
didn't communicate.
Didn't communicate at all.
Like lied by omission that she existed, and then poof, she like is a thing. So it's not really miscommunication.
Which actually, something that I found like weird is that they never took a DNA test to prove she was.
They didn't take a DNA test.
I thought they did.
I thought they did.
I think they did.
I don't think they did. He just shows up, and he's like.
But I thought it once she got to the to
Japan,
it was in a passing comment where she was like, "Oh yeah, sense. we did all the DNA tests just to be sure or whatever."
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah, I feel like she didn't.
It was like in a brief like sentence. Like they didn't make it a big scene of it. She just like mentioned it. Like it was like, oh, over the past like hour or so or whatever.
I mean, it makes sense.
It's definitely my father, like type of thing. So I feel like I remember that. But I think it's really interesting that the thing that Allana mentioned earlier, like when there's a big family, like you're meeting your family and there's someone who's like super nice, that's too suspicious, because even though they are family, they're strangers. Like they haven't met each other before. Like, so I was immediately like, is this going to be the cousin who's on our side or the enemy? And we know how that went. It was the enemy. So, okay.
And I thought that was really good though, because it was really interesting representation, because I feel like there's a lot of bullying stuff that in Japan, like a lot of popular media is about bullying, and bullying is like a huge problem in Japan. and there's so many different types of bullying, like that I was bullied growing up, and like I felt like it really did represent well the different types of bullying that happen in those types of circles in Japan, where it's like the very obvious in your face bullying, the talking behind your back bullying, the like being like nice to your face but like not actually being nice with your words bullying, and then the whole Yoshi thing where it's like a snake in sheep's clothing. Like I thought it was really well represented, because I feel like they don't like, there's always just one or two, but it's not always all of them, where I feel like
and I just feel like the writing in this book, the whole time I was reading it, I was just thinking about how the author is just so good at showing like a hilarious character without making it not annoying, but without making it like, oh, this person is so funny, let's all laugh.
Like a caricature.
Yeah, like she was just funny and really likable. So I really, really like that. But I have a question by demand of one of our co-hosts. And the question is, if you were in Izumi's position, when would you have left Japan, and what would have been like your last straw when you're like, I'm done with this. This is over. I'm leaving. Like, what would have made you leave?
I would have left after the wedding. Immediately, I would have been like, that's it. I'm not fit for this. I screwed up. I'm gone. See you later. Like, I wouldn't have gone to like Kyoto.
I'm trying to think of everything that happened. Honestly, I would have been on guard as soon as they wouldn't let me go to the bathroom in the airport. I was like, bro.
Never mind.
I'm about to pee myself. Please let me go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
but
true.
I think the wedding would have been a hit. It would have really hit my confidence. And then immediately after that, the conversation with her dad, where he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna kind of send you away." I think that would have been my okay, first of all, it was a mistake, but it wasn't a mistake I purposely made. It was a mistake I was misled to. But also when he didn't believe that the twins were bullying her, and then he was like, "Oh, and we're also gonna send you away." I was like, "Forget it. I'm going home. Like, I'll just stay with mom. I'll see you later, Thanksgiving or something. I don't know." But because at that point, it's just like, not that she shouldn't have put in effort, but I'm like, you guys clearly don't want, like, it just feels like half of you don't want me here, and like I'm that person where I'm like, I don't want to be anywhere I'm not wanted, because that's just miserable, you know, even if I am trying to like get to know my dad in a way.
Yeah, I think I would have left, honestly, at the clothes trying on scene, where she was like, I want to wear this, and they were like, actually, no, you're gonna wear this. Like, where they were talking about like the pale yellow color and the pink, and she was like, I prefer darker. That would have been the last straw for me, because showing up in an outfit I hate, and I have to take pictures, and I have to look at myself in that outfit in public media. Absolutely not. I would have packed my bags.
I'm like, that's it. I'm not going.
No, because the memory of forever, like I have to constantly think of that memory when I see this picture in the magazine. Like imagine you're walking down the street and it's a newspaper on the floor in an outfit you hate, and you don't know what it's saying, so you have to ask your bodyguard and hope he's telling you the truth.
You really thought about that moment of like whether or not someone's telling you the truth.
No, literally, because I was like
coming up again.
Like when they were talking about the colors and the outfits, I was like, oh, this is upsetting. I would have been out of here. No, I would have left the first day.
I think it would make me even sadder because of the fact that like the only reason the media eventually turned around and like started praising her was when she jumped in front of that baby when they thought like someone shot in the hospital.
Honestly,
I was like, for real.
That was so Japan though, because Japan be loving babies. Like, I mean, literally, like the prime minister got in trouble for like going on the news and telling like Japanese women to like go have more children because our death rate was higher than our birth rate, and like gave everyone like $100 like stimulus check for like every child under like 18 in your household, and I bought a like guitar with that money. Like, when they did that scene, I literally think I wrote in my Goodreads update, I was like, oh, this is so Japanese. They love babies. My mom literally stops for every baby on the street and says hi, and she gets upset if she can't greet every baby. Like, it's so true. I was like, this is so true. You know, if you try to protect a baby, like especially like a common baby, like Japan will be like, you will be enthralled by them. I mean, they're enthralled by people who speak fairly good Japanese without an English accent. They think you're like, you know, the next coming. So like, I mean, this would be amazing. Like they would die. I know that I literally was like, believable. Like
Oh wait.
Yeah, that's what he said to her.
Yeah, he did say that. That made me so emotional because I was like,
it really did.
Like
honestly, I like, so for me, like I feel like I want to say I would have left after the wedding, but like knowing me and like I've had I've had an interesting relationship with my paternal family, so we haven't always like gotten along. So like and my dad passed away when I was young, so like I understand that feeling. Like I want to say I would have left, but I've been in situations like, not that, but like I've been in like similar contentious situations where like people are like, why didn't you leave? And I'm like, I honestly cannot tell you why. Like sometimes you are in the moment and like you're in like an energy with someone and like you just, I don't know, like something about that person, like you're like, I'm gonna leave, and like they change your mind. Like it's, I feel like if I want to say I would have left, but if I was in Izumi's position in all of her circumstance and I was standing in front of like this father that was like telling me this, I probably would have stayed. Like I probably would have done exactly like the
same thing.
timeline as her, because I feel like I really identified with like a lot of her internal feelings, and just like it made me sad, especially when she was like saying things like, oh well, you know, like always the Twinkie, like yellow on the outside, like white on the inside, which is like something really common that we get as like mixed race or biracial or like second generation, third generation Japanese people. Like we get called Twinkie a lot. That's something I got called, like yellow on the outside, white on the inside. And it's like really sad to see someone internalize that. And it's definitely something that I felt rang true, because it's something that people get told in the States, because it was never something I was called until I moved to the States for college, and I never got it growing up. So like it is something that you definitely internalize. It made me sad, and I got that feeling of like, you're not Asian enough, but like in the States you're not white enough. Like it's so complicated, and I felt like it was done really like authentically and tenderly like in this book. So yeah, I really feel like I want to say I would have left, but I probably wouldn't. I think my biggest problem would be like language.
Yeah, your Izumi makes sense though. So
because I swear a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, I can speak Japanese, but like I swear a lot, so I can't. I'm not good. Like
a lot of
I think. I was gonna say I like related to a lot of that too, just because I'm also mixed, so it was also, and I also not as close to my dad's side of the family either, so I was like, that was a lot that I related to as well. And then now she has me thinking, because I'm like, I'm also a people pleaser, so I probably would have stayed too, mostly because like I love my dad, and even that, like when I go see his family, like when I go see him, because he doesn't live near me, but when I go see him, usually he takes me to go see like his family, and usually I'm just there because he's there. Like I'm like, sure, I'll do this for you. Like I'll sit through this awkward meeting with these people for you, because like you're my dad, basically. So I also get that too. But also I'm a people pleaser, so I'm like, I mean, I don't want you to not like me, so I'll sit through this awkward exchange if you just like.
Yeah, it's disingenuous for me. I'd leave when I've sat through like literally the worst situations with my like paternal family, and I like hung in there. Literally did not be like cut it off until my dad, like a year after my dad passed away. So like I mean, even after he was gone, I was still dealing with that. So it was like that's how deep sometimes like it runs within you. So I feel like sometimes, and that's I think that really can't. If I was Japanese and like didn't have that like sense of duty and familial honor that was like bashed into me from like a childhood age, I probably wouldn't have like stuck it in that long. But I also think that is part of it too. Like it's authentic to like the culture, because like it really, Japanese culture is all about like honor and duty and like gimu, which like she puts in the book, which is like why I feel like duty is like really important like conceptually in this text, because she mentions it and explains it and takes the time to do that. So I feel like that's something that's really important in this story. It's like just the familial duty, the obligation, but it's not all like obligation in the sense of like a job. It's like as a member of a family, what duty do you have to your fellow family member to love and protect them and give them the benefit of the doubt and give them an opportunity to get to know you, like kind of duty as well. Like I think that was also part of what the writer was trying to do, is like she's trying to communicate that in a sense, is like not just your duty and obligation to your job and to your existence, but like to your existence, like not just in like what you represent royally, but like to you as like a person and a being with a soul. Like what do you have an obligation and duty to yourself to like allow you to be a full human being? I don't know, that's what I got from it. But
yeah, I feel like this book like weaves things in so seamlessly, like all these different discussions, and I think it's really a testament to like the book's power, I guess, that like both you and Allana were able to like relate to those aspects of the book, talking about those things. And then I know Kim also brought this up, which is really interesting. And you know what? This also reminds me of Darius the Great is Not Okay, because there are similar discussions in there about like being raised in the US and then like going back home and then like seeing the difference in like how you're treated because you're like not enough in one place and then not enough in another place. So I think that's like really interesting. So if you haven't read that book and you like this one, definitely read that because it was so good. But we're nearing the end of the live show. So I guess one thing we could do is if anyone has any contemporary recommendation that they want to like toss out, like a YA contemporary. I know Allana reads a lot of them, so she might have some on her mind. But any other YA contemporaries you might recommend?
I have one that we both read together.
Oh, I think I know what you're gonna say.
So I'm not big on YA contemporaries actually. But I'll Be the One.
Yes.
Oh, that one's so
good.
It's so good. It's so good.
Still need to read it.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it. It just has a lot of elements that I love. And it's definitely so cute and super fast to read. I think we read it in a day.
Yeah, it was super fast. And it's queer and the main character is plus size.
Yes.
So cute. And it's like, isn't it, that's the K-pop one, right?
And it's
yes.
So cute.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. It's so cute. I guess my recommendation would probably be yeah, I know. I'm like, I pulled up my story graph. I'm like, let's see.
Yeah, I'm like going through Goodreads. I'm like, it's been a minute.
We're all like, what did I rate lately?
Hi. You know, it's like we're such big into it. I'm like, oh, I can't remember the last time I read one. Oh no.
Alana's like, I can't remember a single book. I will say,
I got one. I got one.
Go ahead.
Another K-pop book, XOXO by Axio. It's so good. I also read it in a day. I read it in one sitting. I read the audiobook literally like so fast. Like I read books on like 2.5 to 3 speed, so like real fast. But like literally like one sitting, like a couple hours, inhaled it. This was the book where I was like, I want a second book. I want it with the main like side lead because like so basically like this girl, I don't know how much I should talk about it, but like I don't want to spoil it. It's so she goes to Korea, and then she goes to she's a musician, and she goes to like a school for the arts, kind of like LaGuardia, like the Fame school in like New York City, but it's like a school for the arts, like musicians, artists, dancers, whatever, go there. And then yeah, it's a K-pop story, but it's like a love story. It's so cute. It's so good. It's so good. There's literally only like a handful of reviews on Goodreads. So like I'm really pushing for people to like read this book so I can get book 2, because if people don't read book 1, then we can't get book 2. But I want book 2 so bad. Please
I
read
will be
it.
putting that on my list.
I literally think about it all the time. Like after I read it, I literally was thinking about it for days. And then I told my acupuncturist about this book. And then she got her friend to buy this book. And I was like, this book is so good. Like, oh, I'm so obsessed. Like, so she like, she bumps into this guy who's like possibly a member of a K-pop band. And then they meet in Korea, but they bump into each other in America. Oh my God, it's so good.
Oh my God.
So I have to read it. So
That
anyway,
sounds
that
so
was
cute.
my last
That sounds so good.
contemporary 5-star read.
XOXO,
It's so
right?
good. Yeah, XOXO by Axio. It's fantastic. And the cover is so cute. And the audiobook is also really good. So highly recommend.
I think one that I will give while Allana's still thinking, I will say Rent a Boyfriend by Gloria Child. That is also, if you like the honor aspect of this book, definitely read that. It's so good. And it's so emotional if you want something that's like more family emotional centered. But Allana, go ahead.
Okay, all 3 of those are on my I bought them and I had them on my shelf. I just haven't I realized I haven't I just realized today listening to this question that I haven't been reading as much YA contemporary as I've been wanting to, so now I gotta change that. I also just added Rent a Boyfriend to a TBR because I loved American Panda,
So
and
good.
I was like, I added that next book, so I have it. But I think I would recommend Heartstopper because I literally fell in love with that series. I fell in love with it this year. Like I read the first one maybe earlier this year, and then I just didn't buy the like latest volumes for whatever reason. And Erin has them on her shelf, so I just picked them up one night and read both of them in one sitting. Like I was up till 3 a.m. reading them because I was like, this shit is so cute. I can't stop reading. And I was like, I don't want it to end. I was like, these are these kids are like my children. I love them so much. I just want the best for them. And the whole cast.
Get these series. It's so good.
Yeah, and the whole cast is just so cute and diverse, and I just love that they like each have their own distinct personalities and individual voices, and you don't really see that like super often in graphic novels. I feel like, I mean, sometimes you do, but sometimes you don't. But like I think Alice Oman just did a really good job with it, and Charlie and Nick are just the cutest. And I know there's gonna be a TV show too, so there's all that.
And I love the ED rep in this. It's so good. Like as someone who used to have an ED, like there are not many books do it really like tenderly and like with so much care. And I feel like Alice Oseman does a great job in Heartstopper dealing and talking about that. And I think that's so amazing and helpful.
And I like that she emphasized when that was happening for Nick. She was like, it's not on you to fix anybody. And I like
that was so good.
Like that's not always shared when someone has a partner who's going through something like that. Like people honestly have this mindset that they have to be the ones to fix these people, their partners or whoever that's going through something hard. And it's like, no, like you can be there for them, but you do not have to fix them. That is not your job. That is not to be like that's beyond you, but that's beyond you. Like that's a lot to take on for yourself. So I just liked that it was just like, so I'm big on mental health. So I was like, yes, mental health wins.
So amazing. It's such a great book. I love it so much.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is also on Webtoon for people who are trying to read Heartstopper. But
I don't
And
know.
tapas.
I don't think it's webtoon. I think it's
It's
tapas.
tapas, yeah.
Tapas?
Yeah, it's
Oh, okay,
tapas.
it's tapas
Yeah.
and not webtoon.
I think it's
You can
on
read it on there for
Webtoon
free.
too, because I read
Oh,
it.
is
on
it
there.
on Webtoon too? Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you can't get it,
Webtoon
because
as
it
well.
is literally always checked out from the library. I totally feel
Yeah.
you. So definitely check it out on Tapas or Webtoon. If you don't mind the digital stuff, because and I don't know, does Heartstopper have miscommunication? I don't think it
I
does.
don't think so.
No.
I don't think it does.
So, I'll be the one. I can't remember any miscommunication in that.
There wasn't.
I can't remember
would say
any.
the opposite, actually.
Yeah,
There was
a lot of
incredible communication.
over communication. They were communicating everything.
Oh my God,
Friends and boyfriend, I don't remember miscommunication, but there is a lot of like family tension, and like there's the like tension of like our family doesn't really talk about things, but there's no like miscommunication. Like, oh, I'm in love with this person and like whatever, and we're not. You know what I mean? There's none of that in those. And I don't think any in Heartstopper, and I don't think there's any in XOXO. Michelle?
In XOXO, there's miscommunication, but not in the main couple. It was like a reasoning why, like there's stuff. I'm not gonna like spoil it, but it's involved with the side couple, but it's like past tense. If that makes sense, like it's not active in the book, but they talk about like past stuff with miscommunication.
Cool.
I don't know if that's gonna be a trigger for you, but like there is discussion of miscommunication. It's not in the active main couple though.
Cool. Hopefully you guys check out all of those recommendations. That is it for our live show today. Thank you so much to my wonderful co-hosts for joining me, and for everyone in the comment section creating such a lively and good discussion. I really, really enjoyed this book, and I'm definitely going to be reading more from this author. We'll see what the sequel will be like. I'm scared.
Yes, I'm so intrigued.
I'm curious, so I feel like I'm gonna definitely read it.
But I do want to keep
reading.
reading.
You know for sure is it getting adapted? Because I read in the comments somewhere that someone was like, when it gets adapted, and I was like,
I think it is being adapted.
I mean, it makes sense because it was a Reese's Book Club pick, so I feel like that it's gonna be adapted. But
yeah, I feel like I remember somebody saying it was. I mean, I remember seeing somewhere there was like a notice that it was getting adapted. So I'm excited if it actually does.
Yeah, I feel like it would work greatly on screen.
Yeah, I feel like it's really cinematic.
Yeah, it would just be beautiful.
It reminds me of so many movies. Like
I got Parent Trap vibes.
Parent Trap, What a Girl Wants, Chasing Liberty. It also reminds me of To All the Boys, just in the sense of like, you know, it's Asian, it's got 3 books. Like I feel like it would be a good like Netflix movie series or a TV series.
All right, great. Thanks so much again, everyone, for joining. I will see you at our next live show for She Who Became the Sun. Thanks so much.
I can't wait to read that.
Me too. Oh my goodness. See you all next time. Bye.